Good evening, friends and colleagues. Tonight we're going to talk about problem of scale. And problem of scale deals with the concept of large-scale governments and how well they can govern over ever-growing populations of people. And problem of scale was identified and discussed in Dr. Livingston's videos this week, talking about Hobbes and Aristotle. And so tonight I want to start with Aristotle, philosopher from ancient Greece, right, as we well know, contributed to our political thoughts, including his thoughts on problem of scale, and specifically Aristotle deals with republics, right? So in Aristotle's work, Politics, specifically, he examines the ideal size of a political state or a political unity, right? And what the optimal scale for a city-state or polis would be to function effectively. A small city-state allows for better governance, direct participation of those citizens, and he believed that those smaller communities could more easily share common values and interests and foster a sense of that collective unity and responsibility. Aristotle expressed concerns specifically about the challenges of governing larger populations. He argued that the size of a state, as it increases, becomes more difficult for citizens to actively participate in the decision-making. Therefore, he believes that large states are more susceptible to internal conflicts, divisions, and making it challenging to maintain that civic unity that we're looking for inside of a government. Aristotle made a crucial distinction between different forms of government. He categorized these governments based on whether they serve the common good or they serve the interests of a ruling class. The republic, in Aristotle's view, is a form of government where political power is exercised for the common good, reflecting the interests of the entire community, which is something we're going to come back and revisit here in a minute when we talk about Hobbes. This stands in contrast to those oligarchies that we saw in ancient Greece, or tyrannies, also very common and prevalent in ancient Greece, where power is concentrated in the hands of just a few people. Aristotle appreciated the idea of a mixed constitution, so something more similar to what we have today, combining, though, monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy. This is going to be in contrast to Hobbes when we get to that. He believes the balanced blend of these forms can contribute to that political stability, kind of like we have our balance of power. Aristotle's thoughts on problem of scale emphasize the challenges associated with that large government, right? And he's advocating for a smaller government to have more control and to make things more localized for the people there. Pardon me. Now, if we switch our attention to Hobbes from the 17th century, so we're moving forward here, excuse me. Hobbes provides insight on how the scale and complexity of a government impacts its effectiveness on the stability of a society, more specifically. In Leviathan, his seminal work, he envisions that social contract theory that many of the Enlightenment thinkers discussed, Hobbes, Locke, and a desire for self-preservation, which will push people together to form a commonwealth. So that commonwealth is argued for a powerful sovereign, right? So Hobbes' argument is that a powerful sovereign holds authority and maintains order, prevents chaos inherent in the state of just nature itself. From Hobbes' perspective, right, the problem of scale is intertwined with the need for a strong centralized authority. And we see these strong centralized authority in previous governments, Rome specifically. A Leviathan-like government, the sovereign is expected to possess absolute power and enforce laws, security, and maintain social order. That scale, though, as it expands, challenges are going to arise, as we have seen historically, to be able to effectively exercise that authority over a larger, broader scale of people. Hobbes contends a larger government tasked with managing a diverse population, they're going to encounter difficulties maintaining control and providing that justice. That's why everything reverts back to that ultimate authority. Hobbes is going to emphasize a unified and cohesive sovereign power in a large-scale government. The risk of internal dissent and division among rulers or administrative bodies will become more pronounced. Now, this is where Aristotle would come forward and say that that mix of government is going to negate that issue. Fragmentation could undermine the essence of the Hobbes ideal government. And again, that's because we have that monarchy sitting at the top, as opposed to having that civil discourse happening in Aristotle's idea. Hobbes' perspective, we're going to see the challenges of governing large and diverse populations better addressed, because this is something that he was actually aiming toward. Tension between different control and administrative challenges in those large-scale governments are still an issue today, and something that our current government struggles with, and that we have representatives at the federal level that are representing small local governments, and those small local governments don't necessarily get heard up through that level. Again, that issue of scale, of everything getting kind of lost in the sauce. So this is our kind of summary of problem of scale and how it actually carries forward to today, where we have this very large government, but how do we make sure that everyone is heard and represented in a large-scale government? Thanks.